What should be our main motivation, and what causes us to have this negative perspective of work?
Thanks, Mike. You absolutely spot on. Research shows that 60% of employees hate their job.
60%.
60%. That's by Gallup International. That's absolutely huge. And this is the number one challenge that employers and organizations have to confront each and every day. It is the number one cause of staff disengagement or underproductivity at the workplace. And the reason being that many employees, and I want to say this very humbly, and I know I am a former employee myself, many employees have the mentality that they are working for their employer or their boss or for their team or for their department. Many of us employees probably lack what I would call the big picture regarding their employment or their job. I think the most important question each and every employee ought to ask themselves every day until they get an answer is, why did I choose to be here in this organization? What motivated me, just like you have asked? Because then you realize employees are most motivated when they are new in an organization.
Precisely.
They're very motivated. But along the way, something happens. Number one, probably, they lose their why of seeking employment in that organization. And it is important for me to say this very humbly, that we as employees, we need to realize something. You chose, you applied to be in that organization, to be on that job. Sometimes I make fun, Mike, and I say that no employee is in the organization, in their department, with their boss through a court order. You chose to be there.
Nobody put a gun to your head.
Nobody put a gun to your hand.
Right.
You chose. But I think the challenge is along the way you actually lose your motivation. You lose your why. Many employees do not have what we call the big picture of employment. My understanding, my personal view is this. Employment is a very privileged and noble opportunity for us not to earn money. Money ought not to be the primary motivation. The primary motivation, according to me, ought to be to earn life.
To earn life. Wow.
Yes.
But now when I'm going to work, really, it is taking away my life in the sense that the 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours that I spend at my place of work is my lifetime that I have dedicated to this work. In exchange for money. Are you saying that it should be different from that?
What I'm saying is this. When we defocus primarily from earning money and we realize that our calling is to touch a life. I want to say this very, very emphatically. Every organization ought to realize something very, very important. Whether in production or service. The primary objective, the essence, the core business of every organization, every person, every company in business ought to be ultimately to uplift a life. Whether you're in transport, whether you're in the media like here, you're giving us information, you're giving us educative information and knowledge so that we can live with information that helps us to live better lives. So ultimately, every organization, the core business is to uplift life at the end of the tunnel. Therefore then, the employee ought to realize the same. That my primary responsibility, really, I wake up every morning to come here, not just to share news or to earn a salary, but because you realize one thing, whatever you are sharing with humanity, with people, they need it. If they did need it, you wouldn't be sharing it. And they need it primarily so that their life can get better. And therefore, every day, I am very privileged to go out in my employment and ultimately touch a life. However, of course, I expect compensation for that. I expect compensation. I expect that my time be, complimented and compensated. And that is very, very important. But that becomes secondary. I'll tell you why.
Question before you continue.
Yes.
What made us imagine that our remuneration or the main thing that takes us to work is money? Where did we get that wrong? Because according to what you're saying, that should not be the main focus. So where did we go wrong?
Mike, that's an amazing question. Where did we go wrong? There are several factors that have contributed to this, right from our upbringing, our education system. Mike, let's remember when we were young, what were we being told by the entire society, from sometimes our mom, our dad, our brothers and sisters, our seniors, our mentors, our pastor? Go to school, study hard, get a good job, and a lot of money. So the primary motivation, the socialization, the focus was you work for money, which is very, very unfortunate. And we need to disabuse that notion. And that is why at the workplace, the commonest tag between an employee and an employee is about promotion and more money. And I need to see this. Employees need to realize one thing. This life is about self-promotion. It's really not about I waiting for my HR or my boss to promote me. Because promotion is all about results. And the truth is, Mike, if you can put it this way, if you're always the best member in terms of productivity in your team, every season, every year, you're the best. There's no way you can remain at the same position. So, Mike, we need to change the way we're mentoring our children and help them realize employment, by the way, is a school. How best can I explain employment? Can I use the analogy of the seed and the garden?
Please, go right ahead.
Yes, thank you. You take a seed, say a grain of maize, you plant it in a garden, you connect it in the garden. When there is connection in the right garden, what happens?
It grows.
It grows. The power within the seed is ignited. The potential is ignited. The greatness within the seed is eventually unleashed. And where there was a seed, because there was connection and the right environment, very important parameters for productivity, then the greatness within the seed comes out. Where there was a seed, there's a tree and many fruits and so on and so forth. Similarly, and I say this very humbly, employment is a garden where Mbugua Mumbi, the employee, ought to go and get planted, connected in this school. And when you're well connected and you're motivated from within, what happens? Honestly, the power within you, the potential within you, the giftings within you ought to be seen, ought to be shared, ought to be unleashed in employment.
Okay, now